If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, as well as follow me and subscribe to me on all my other social media platforms. What's up, Thrashers, and welcome back once again to the Thrash Maniac 99 YouTube channel, and I'm back with another album review for you guys. And today I'm talking about the latest studio offering from Vitriol with Suffer and Become. This is the band's second full-length, and this came out also on January 26th, this time on Century Media Records. And, well, this is the first time I've checked this band out. I've heard this band come up in a few circles here and there when it comes to upcoming death metal bands. I didn't check out their debut album, To Bathe from the Throat of Cowardice, but I probably should check it out because I heard that was a pretty good album. But basically, this is a death metal slash technical death metal band. I would say this is more tech death than anything else. Like, I'll just go ahead and say, like, every single song on this album is just batshit insane when it comes to these song structures and just the intensity behind it. It's kind of hard to get a gauge on it a little bit at times. Kick things off with Shame and its Afterbirth, immediately like strange guitars, but it does build up well, and then you just get into utter tech death insanity with some like odd time shifts, a la, I would say, Defeated Sanity, I think, would be a pretty good comparison to Vitriol, at least here in the spots. But it does have a nice double time section, even if the guitars are just unhinged a lot of times. And then I also really love, one thing that really does stand out about this album to me is the guitar solos. The leads on this album just kind of go every direction you can think of. But here on the opening track, you get almost like neoclassical play and lots of clean sweeps going on the guitars, so I can appreciate the lead work on this album for damn sure. The Flowers of Sadism, this one brings in some of that strange dissonance that you would find in like avant-garde tech death bands like Ulcerate and maybe even Gigan or Gorguts, I would even say, is a good comparison point. But then you get this like cool Immolation-esque groove, only the guitars are just absolutely going off the fucking rails. And then another big thing that comes up across the board is Cryptopsy-style riffs and blast beats, like that hyper blast that you hear in Cryptopsy. That comes up a lot on this album for damn sure. Nursing from the Mother Wound, this one kind of almost blends tech death and blackened death. And what I mean by the whole blackened death, you get some more black metal screams and black metal tremolos that kind of get peppered in here and there. The Isolating Lie of Learning Another, this one kind of starts off a little bit on the doomy side, but with that strange dissonance on top, almost like something you would hear in an album like Obscura by Gorguts to some degree. But then it just gets chaotic, but dare I say, it maybe gets a little bit more brutal. Like, even the vocals get low and putrid, like that guttural vocal, which I do like. You get moments of that on this track. And then, finally, a nice change in pace. We get some thrashy speeds and thrashy rhythms get peppered in on this track before you get more of those black metal vibes coming along. Although the lead on this track, I can't believe I would say this because this is an insane, intense album, feels kind of heroic, like it comes in with this big crescendo at the end, which definitely was a big highlight of the album for me, absolutely. Survival's Careening Ionerta, I'm probably butchered that word, but this is an instrumental, and it's a very unique take on an instrumental. Like, starts off with this like tasteful, clean melody, which is pretty cool after just going through 4 tracks of just visceral onslaught into your head. And then you even get like clean tremolos, almost a bit like clean surf rock tremolos on top of blast beats, before the distortion comes back and you're right back in the Cryptopsy territory once again. Weaponized Loss, another one of the more brutal tracks when it comes down to just the intensity behind it. Far more brutal than some of the others on the album, and dare I say, some Hate Eternal riffs kind of get peppered in here. And I know Hate Eternal is like the big band that Vitriol is often compared to, at least on Metal Archives. This is really the only time, to my ears, where I get some of that Hate Eternal vibe. And then Flood of Predation, again, you get some more thrashy speeds coming in here, and even a little bit of groove, which was kind of something I was hoping to hear after just going through this entire ride. It was nice to get a little bit of groove coming in here, and even a halftime rhythm. And even there's a section towards the end where the vocals just turn into agonizing anguish. Then Locked in Fine, Frothing Wisdom. This is really where you start to get a lot of Anal Nathrock comparisons when it comes down to the blast beats and the tremolos and the vocals. It just gets absolutely deranged, I would say. But even some like change-ups in the blast beats, like you even get the hammer blast coming in here. It gets thrashy again, and one of the only times on the album you get a breakdown. I Am Every Enemy, solid grooves, and actually triplet chugs come in periodically on this, but with technical tremolo riffs on top. But I will say, one thing that bothered me throughout the entire album is how the snare sound, like the snare tone, would change here and there to where it'd sound full to a ringy trash can snare, and I'm just like, what were they trying to go for when it came to these like snare sound changes that would pop up? It's not all the time, it's just every once in a while you hear the snare change sound, which was kind of annoying. And then the final track, He Will Fight Savagely. Again, it's just more insane tech death craziness going on with these blasts and riffs. But first time in a little while on the album, little bit of melody comes in, which it was a nice refreshing change after just going through this whole entire thing. And then another gorgeous lead comes in, and then back to double time. So it's interesting how both the opener and the closer had double time moments, which was interesting to bookend. But yeah, basically this album, I feel, is kind of hard to get a grip on because it's just firing off on all cylinders when it comes down to blazing speed and these crazy technical riffs and all this and that. And that's kind of an issue I have with some tech death. It's like they don't give a lot of these songs a lot of room to breathe. Like only a few tracks where you get like little moments where they calm down, like Survival's Careening, Inerta, let's see, Flood of Predation, and even I Am Every Enemy. Like those tracks have moments where they'll kind of calm things down a little bit, either with melody or bringing in grooves or just chugging along on a decent riff. But yeah, this album, like I said, it's just kind of scattered all over the map, and a lot of these technical riffs just kind of run into another, and it's hard to really make out any distinct riffs that come in unless it's in a groove section. So yeah, there are quite a few drawbacks on this album for me, but is it bad? Absolutely not. In fact, this is actually a good album. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. Maybe with more time and also check out the debut, maybe my opinion will change. But for now, it's a 3 out of 5. It's a good album if you like crazy, wild tech death. If you are a fan of Defeated Sanity, Cryptopsy, Ulcerate, and even Hate Eternal, you'll probably find some things you'll dig on here. For me, it's kind of a challenging listen just because of just how batshit insane it goes. But of course, that's just my opinion. What did you guys think of Suffer and Become by Vitriol? Let me know in the comments. And until next time, keep your horns high and your dreams wet.